I mean, I think I, I think this is on. YouTube says that it's on, so I'm just going. Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, middle of the night, wherever you are. I'm checking my microphone, looking at the video. Welcome to Livestream Wednesday. It's Amelia. I think this might be the first time I have actually said my name in the first minute of the stream. If you are here, do me the favor confirming that you can hear and see me so I don't worry about it. Also, smash the like button because it makes my heart feel fuzzy. I have a few things I had planned to talk about today, but mostly as usual, for the folks who know, I just like to talk to people about their websites and about their questions. So, again, if you're new to the stream, you have questions about websites, feel free to throw them into the chat. Most of the time, the people who are in the chat know more than I do. So, take advantage of them. And also, if Niche Safari Chris is not here, it's Chris's fault. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm not sure that Chris will watch this on the replay, but Chris, if you're watching, it's your fault. Whatever it is. So, just so you know, the whole stream, it's going to be your fault. Going over to the chat, I see that John Morphus was first one in the chat this morning. Good morning. How's it going? Then there's Keith. What's going on? And Sonia. Sonia, I see that you have jumped into the MEGA spreadsheet. I'm happy to see you in there. And it's great to see you like posting and talking about your progress, which is awesome. There's Adrian. Always good to see you here. And Margaret, one of the most hardest working people I know is Margaret. And then there's Jay-Z. He's Electronic Earnings. He's actually John. John, are you cooking today? Because last week or maybe the week before it was spaghetti bolognese. Bolognese. I'm not sure if I said that right, but are you making dinner? And if so, what is it? There is Sardar. I don't know who you are, Sardar. So please tell us about you and what it is you're working on and what brings you to the stream. And Alexander, what's going on? I am a new subscriber. Well, welcome. We are happy to have you. And in general, if you are new to the channel, we'd like to know about you because this is a more of a community and less of like a sit back and take notes sort of situation. So the best streams are literally the ones where everybody talks in the chat and we talk about things that we're interested in. And it really helps us all to know a bit about you, like where in the world you are and what it is that you are working on. I see Sue. Sue is in here with the Happy Wednesday. Yes, and confirm that everybody can hear and see, which is awesome. So Sonia is in Malaysia and stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the stream. If I had the ability to give you the prize for your effort, this would be it right now. I'm just going to pat you on the back, a virtual pat. I will pat myself on the back for you because that is awesome. So what is going on, everybody? There's a couple things I plan to talk about, but also I need a little bit of a boost, right? I've had the kids for a couple of days and I ordered content, but now I need to sit down and really get to work the next couple of days. And what really gets me going is hearing what y'all are working on and how things are going and that you have made any sort of progress. I don't care if it's a small win, like small wins, small win Wednesday, like whatever it is, please just put them in the chat to just get me fired up so that when I finish the stream, I will immediately go and like get into this, please. Um, Jay-Z, all right, throwing in there. He didn't even know that's what I wanted, but he said almost up to 200 posts on his third site, which is awesome. There is Graham. Graham has been like a demon, a devil with the keyboard in the last week, it sounds like, which is awesome. Graham, I like, is it too early to ask how many posts you managed to get through in the last week? Because I'm super curious now. Jay-Z says, might be going out for dinner, possibly a Ruby Murray. See, I don't know what a Ruby Murray is. Is that a drink? Is that a restaurant? Is that a town? Like a food shack on the corner? Is that a hamburger? Like you can't just drop the stuff on me and not tell me. There is somebody saying hi to Anthony, and I didn't see Anthony in the chat already. There's Tortoise Cashflow. Anthony, I feel like we missed you last week. As you folks know, Anthony's usually working, driving something and listens to us chat. And so I'll do my best to try and read the comments for you, my friend. The question is, and if Carl is here on the replay, hashtag replay, is Carl, what's for tea? What did you make? and you have to put it in the comments later so that we can come back and see. I will report also from last week, I have still heard nothing from Paul Harrison. So we were chasing down Paul 2 weeks ago and hoping that he would come out of the woodwork, and I have still heard nothing from Paul. So if anybody has heard anything from Paul, please let me know. I wanna make sure that he is okay. He says, "Hey, Chris, apparently it's your fault." And Chris already knows this, I think, I hope. Sonia is in Penang, Malaysia. I would love to spend time in Malaysia. It sounds amazing. And the food sounds amazing and it sounds beautiful. And I just want to go there. Sardar says that he's a textile engineer from Pakistan. We love our folks from that part of the world. There's a ton of people from Pakistan who are in this business, and it's great to see you here. He says he's doing part-time affiliate marketing, sold one site already. Kapow! Nice work. And already started 2 more sites. That's awesome to hear. Uh, Ruby Murray means curry. Then why not just say curry? It's like, what's special about a Ruby Murray? Like, is it like a kind of curry or is it just curry? Like, that's just another way to say like soda versus pop. Like, they're the same thing and people just know that. Sonia said that she thought the live was yesterday due to time differences. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bummer. But I was waiting for the session, feeling a bit tired of writing for my blog. Yes. Hey, I don't know if everybody has the high five emoji, but is anybody else tired of writing for their blog? Please go to the chat and say me if it's you, and there's no shame in it. I am totally tired of writing on the Miga site. I'm so tired of the topic of the niche. Like I just don't want to write on it anymore. So yes, I totally understand, but that's not gonna stop us. It's a rhyming slang. So a Ruby Murray curry. Okay, yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I mean, I understand. It's a Cockney rhyming slang for curry. So is that a thing? Like, just instead of saying curry, just or the specific thing, let's just confuse everybody with something that rhymes and hope that they decipher it, sort of like a puzzle, like like a detective. Just like, I think that's what they mean, but it rhymes. Like I don't know. Anthony says, I missed it. Have to catch the replay. Yep, I'm driving, but listening. Alexander, thank you for dropping in some progress of 28 posts in September. Ching. And almost $100, but short 70 cents. Ooh, that $100 threshold is such like a great little like ledge like to get to, right? You get to there, and then once you're standing on the ledge of $100 a month, then you can look ahead to $200 or $500. But getting from 0 to $100 a month, especially the first time, might be the hardest part of this whole entire business, like literally. Keith wants to know, is there any more Cockney to share? I only know apples and pears, meaning stairs. For real? Apples and pears means stairs? Oh my gosh. Jay-Z says, Cockney rhyming slang is a secret language that criminals in the East London use so they wouldn't be caught by police. Oh, I see some hands up. Sharat, people saying, yep, I'm totally tired of writing on their blogs. Yes, don't be afraid to put your hand up. So what I want to know then is for the curry, is there something illegal about the curry? Like, is it illegally delicious? And that's why it needs some rhyming to go with it. Um, Chris says, I'm tired of editing my writer's work and dealing with my tech stack. I wish I could write more. All right, well, I'll trade you because I don't want to write at all. Keith Sue says, Adam and Eve, as in believe. Would you Adam and Eve it? Really? Really? Boat race means face. Adrian says that September was good for my Mega site. 45% increase in revenue and 20% in traffic. Wow. 45% increase in revenue. That's shocking. Like shockingly amazing. And you compare that to one of the notes that I have, one of the top notes I have on my list to share and also to commiserate with anyone else is RPMs for my Mega site are down by, I don't want to say half, but pretty close to half. So it was up around $18, $19. and now we're floating around 10, $11, which is super sad. So I have stopped going into my Ezoic account, into big data analytics, and looking at the RPMs and trying really hard, even to not just look at the daily earnings and just focusing on the traffic side of it to make sure that traffic is growing. Is anyone else suffering from the blues, from the low RPM, EPMV blues? Because I would love to know that I'm not alone right now. Graham says that he's done 15 posts since last Wednesday. So you are on track to try to get to 31, 32 by next Wednesday. So you're like almost halfway there. I ordered content and I haven't posted anything. And my goal was to get, I think, 30 some posts done by next Wednesday. So I got a lot of work to do. Keith's got his hands up. Yes, so tired of writing on the blog. Jay-Z says, no, it's in case they arrange to meet for a curry. So you would meet for a curry to discuss your nefarious plans over curry. Sure. Sure, totally. Adrian says he might go take a new vacation. So recently you've been to Iceland and Italy. Where to next? Adrian, I would love to know. Dog and bone, I'll let you work. Oh my god. There's Gina. What's going on? That's like twice in a row. How are your sites going? Like, how are your projects going? Please update me. I want to know. Sonia says, yeah, mine, the EPMV is only $2, but I don't know if it's because of the book niche or if it is too little data. I only have 3,000 visitors from 20 posts. Yeah, I would have to say that it's still too early to tell, and there's not a lot of content on the site yet. Like I have my fight site that I have not. I'm like super overdue on an update. Has 45 posts on it now, and there's so little traffic coming through it that it makes like maybe a penny a day, even though it's got 45 posts on it. So to be earning anything at all right now, I would be excited about it. Adrian says, if you check the ad rates trends, you can see it is going downhill starting 1st of October. So basically everybody spent their ad budget there at the end of September, and now they are ramping up. So they're conserving the ad money, like they're putting it in their pocket and they're saving it for November. So hopefully what I will see is, now that they're being penny pinchers, is that in November they will just drop all the monies on me. Just be raining cash on me. So I'm just gonna buckle down and try to get as much stuff posted between now and then, and hopefully I will get some monies from it. Show me the monies. Adrian says Spain. Oh, I would like to go to Spain. I've not been yet to Spain. Jana says traffic is up, but it's slow going. It always is. There's Devin. Hey, what's going on? I feel like we haven't chatted in a while. What's going on? Keith says 3,000 visitors from 20 posts. If new is respectable, I concur. I think that's pretty good, because I have a site that has 45 posts and has 3 visitors. 2 of them are me, usually. Eric says, and is willing to admit that he is tired of writing. I am so slow writing these words. Hey, it happens. And you can see why a lot of the big dogs end up outsourcing so much. It's like, if you want to stick it out in this at a game business, I mean, there's only so much time in the day, and you have to put your effort where it will make things go, what moves the needle. And sometimes us writing the posts from here till the end of time does not move the needle. Sometimes that's not the best investment of our valuable resources. Sharat says, I've been following your content for a long time. Well, thank you and welcome. I know you don't do income reports, but I'm curious, do you make 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures per month? And how many websites do you have? You are correct. I do not share that. I will tell you that I do not make 6 figures a month, nor do I make 7 figures a month. And if I was making 7 figures a month, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here on YouTube, because I would probably be lying on a beach somewhere with like a personal chef and like somebody like waving like a fan over me. I'm pretty sure 7 figures a month. I'm pretty sure that's what I would be doing. I would hire good-looking men in bathing suits to like take care of the lawn, Like, instead of looking out my window at the fence that needs to be repaired, I think I might just pay good-looking people to stand there, so I could just look out the window if I was making 7 figures a month. Right now, as far as websites, I think I have 10. Every website that I own is profitable in some way, so I'm not losing money on any of them, based upon, the expenses and all the rest, but most of them are pretty small and experiments, learning. I'm deep in the learning phase right now, so I don't have you can my other name is not John Dykstra, is what I will say. There's no reason at all to call me John Dykstra behind my back. That would not apply. Marika says, ad rates downhill trend explains why I thought it was only me declining in money. No, that's the reason to talk about it, right? We're sitting at home, like feeling sad about ad rates and then bring it up in the chat. Turns out we're not the only one, and it should get better. Keith says, big advertisers might have a few quid to spare if they held back due to Facebook outage. Yeah, who knows, right? Even if people are grumpy with Facebook, there's still billions of eyeballs looking at it. And I don't know that very many of the users cared all that much. Like, truly, like if it will stop them from using Facebook, because like there's all kinds of incentives that have come out in the last couple years to encourage them to give up Facebook. And if they haven't given up Facebook by now, I'm not sure what, aside from like a major internet Wi-Fi outage, would prevent people from picking up their phones and opening up Facebook. I don't know. Let's see. Donna K, what's going on? My traffic on site 2 is going up, so I'm eager to see how the last quarter plays out. Hopefully we'll hit 1K per month. I'm with you there. I hope it does too. Sardar says 3-month-old site and getting 3 to 4 clicks daily from Google. Good or need improvement? I've had sites that at 3 to 4 months, they get lots of traffic, and then sites from 3 to 4 months that get no traffic. I actually have one of each right now. And for me, it has to do with the amount of content and the competition of the keywords that you are pursuing. Potentially even the niche, like how much authority Google thinks that you need. So it is both good and needs improvement. It's not unheard of for a site that's only 3 months old to get 3 to 4 clicks daily or no traffic at all. I would actually say that a 3 months old site with only 35 articles is getting a couple clicks a day. It's a good sign. What I would want to know is if you are in your Google Search Console, and what is the purple line doing? Is the purple line like going up? Because that to me would be a better sign of how good things are going, versus how many clicks you're getting, because it's just a sign that the articles are getting indexed, and eventually over time they'll gain some authority and get some traffic. Adrian says, do you plan on flipping any of the websites that you own? I have been honestly debating kind of doing a garage sale and just getting rid of some of the project sites, because I'm not that interested in them and I don't want to work on them. And I mean, they make a little bit of money, some of these sites, but they're just sitting there and I don't see myself working on them anytime soon. So I could potentially sell them as like an age domain with content, but I literally have no interest in going on Flippa and dealing with that. And so, I mean, maybe if somebody was interested in like in this group, said, hey, I could really use a project site that like for me, I didn't create most of the content on it and I've just been hanging on to them. Like I probably could be persuaded to unload some of them, but I think I even have one that I just want to to give away, because I don't think that it's that interesting or valuable, or that people should take money for it. I got it in a package deal when I bought some sites a couple years ago, and it just came along, and it needs work, right? So I guess the short answer to your question is yes. I would like to sell. I would really like to get into the 6-figure flipper club over there at Affiliate Lab, and I'd like to get just like check that box, like check. It's just a matter of when and how and what site will get me there. Donna K says, anyone tried the Ezoic YouTube importer that they are recommending? I have not tried it. Has anybody else in the group tried it? I would like to know. Keith says to Sardar, says, it sounds about right. It's still in the sandbox and could be for another 3 to 6 months. Yeah, I would say that it's best to just stop looking at analytics and just focus on writing content for the first 6 to 8 months, and I need to take my own medicine, my own advice on that because I get stuck, like, looking at analytics, and then I'm wasting my time and making myself feel depressed or feeling anxious about something I have no control over, and nobody will know for a while and if that it will be good or bad. There's Steven. What's going on? It has been a long time. I'm happy that you caught me today too, and now that you're here, I wanna know what's going on. Like, how are things? Like, how are your sites? Eric says to starter that his site is also 3 months old and get no traffic from Google. Hey, anybody put their hands up if they have a brand new site that is getting no traffic from Google. I will put my hand up. It's like me. That is me. Is anyone else out there? Keith is everywhere. Hey, Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? It's good to see you, and I'm glad that you dropped in and caught us here. Sharat said, I would love to buy any of your sites if it's less than 5,000. Yeah, well, there's one of the reasons, well, there are many reasons not to share URLs in these groups, but one of the reasons that I don't share the URLs of any of these like garage sites or project sites is I pick them up from here or there, and some of them I've also started, and I'm not proud of them, right? So like I hate to just show them to people because I don't feel like it's a great example of my work and what I'm capable of. And so that's one of the reasons I've been shy about sharing those. So I may get around to doing this and I will let people know, but in most cases it's probably going to be a like a one-to-one deal where I just talk to somebody who's like, "Hey, I could really use a site in this." I'm like, "Hey, I just happen to have one of these and here, take it from me," because it just would be easier. Graham says, I've noticed a pattern in my traffic. Every Saturday, there's a big dip, followed by a 10 to 15% increase on Monday, then a gradual downtrend until the next Saturday. Then it repeats. Very odd. You say that sounds odd, and I don't think it sounds odd at all. And it's actually very common. If you think about the topic of your blog and the people who are coming to your blog, because you say there's a dip on Sunday, to me, that suggests that the blog is not something that people would be looking at on the weekends. So they might be doing other things other than looking for this information on Sunday, which is traditionally a day that people don't work or spend time with their families or go on trips. My biggest site, Sunday is the biggest day. Like Sunday is reliably like this huge spike, right? Like day, like the rest of the week, and then Sunday, like like this, right? And so my graph sort of looks like a heartbeat. Like that's it, like that's what my traffic graph looks like. And then Wednesday is the worst day. And actually, my earnings also spike that. Like the RPM is usually the highest on Sunday too. So it's just it has to do with the people who are accessing your site. And you think, okay, well, Monday is the big day. I could see that being the truth for like anything around education, like school, like colleges, like things that people would go to that they're doing it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and they don't do it on Sunday. So I don't think it's odd at all. I think it just gives us some clues about what our users are doing and when they are accessing our content. Steven says things are going well. That's awesome. I've been a little lazy lately. How are we going to light a fire under you? Not too much looking at analytics and not into publishing, but sites continue to chug along. Yes, I think we all fall into that. And sometimes that happens when we feel less desperate, like the desperation equals perspiration. Like when things start going well and you maybe feel less motivated because there's extra money coming in, or you're confident now that you're not going to fail, it's going to work. Because for me, the fear of failure is massively driving. So once I no longer have that fear, maybe I don't work as hard. It's like trying to find what will light that fire up. There is Sabina. Finally, like the group is complete. Like literally we were not one together in a community if Sabina was not here, and now you are here. Woman, I have to tell you that I have been really enjoying seeing you in the Mega group, and I look at your goal right now for the month. So 30 articles on site 2 by November. So 50 articles, I should say, on site 2 and 8 on. So that's almost 60 articles you're planning on getting posted in 1 month. And I hate to go back and like look at past months, but back in May, your goal was 25 posts and really struggled to get there. Just it's amazing to really watch you grow and just your confidence and enthusiasm as it has been growing. It's just such a pleasure to watch your progress. So thank you for sharing with us and being here. It's great. Um, Graham says, "You mean there are people that don't work on Sunday?" I don't know who they are. I don't understand why they wouldn't be working on Sunday. I'm just saying that they probably exist. I just don't get it. Sardar says, "Yeah, purple line is going up," and then I would say that you should close out your analytics, open up a blog post, and look at that. And then do that until 3 months from now. And then at month 6, let's go back and look at the traffic and see how it's going. That's my advice. Jana says, "Yesterday I watched an interview of the founder of Bigger Pockets, one of the authority sites in real estate. The founder says he worked on it for 6 years without a break. So keep it up." Oh boy, 6 years. Yeah, well, I guess I could totally relate to that. I haven't worked on one site for 6 years, but I've worked on the making money online business for this is year 4, and I've been pretty like head down, like really focused on this. So I could see how you could get to 6 years pretty quickly. I just wish I had started one site in year 1 and then had cranked at it for a long time, and then I would be 4 years into a site that was, I mean, hopefully doing well, but hopefully I would have learned enough and overcame all of my moronic tendencies and learned plenty to have a good site. But Jana says, "Yes, I have 4 more years." I have many years. So in the last week, back to the list, the mum update. I wanted to do a shout out and see if anybody has noticed any sort of impact from mum, which was rolled out in the last week, the multitask unified model update that apparently replaces BERT. I went and looked at the graphs on all of my sites, and I've noticed that a couple of the sites that I don't mess with that much are down a little bit, but not like any like cliffs, like, "Boop." But I wondered if anybody else had seen anything. They talk about mum and like, how it's going to, deliver, read and like do all this stuff. But there was also talk about how just another broad core update was going to be mixed into it. And so I was curious because I didn't see that much of a change. Although, I mean, and it's so hard to tell with a new site too, especially if it was impacted at all because my traffic is so volatile anyway. Did anybody else notice any sort of major traffic changes as a result of the update? Like, let's crowdsource this because it would be cool to know. And if so, who and why and what? Is there any information out there from anyone? The chat is like super quiet. I'm going to assume that maybe the answer is no, but I don't want to assume. So while people are thinking about it, or maybe they're just like frantically typing, I wish that there was like a little typing bar so I could know that the people in the chat were typing. Eric says, "My wife will not pass on holidays with her." I can't imagine. Jana says she doesn't have a wife, but her husband doesn't mind. Chris says, "Yeah, focusing on one site and making it big is more productive than starting multiple sites, even though it's less fun." Yeah, I just keep starting new sites and we'll probably continue to do it. Donna K says, "I didn't see any major traffic changes on either of my sites due to this update." Yeah, I didn't really either. And if there was any traffic changes, I don't know necessarily what it should be attributed to, like truly. I don't know. Especially if it was so much wrapped up into this update or if it's like continuously rolling out. Like I don't know. Sarah says, "My traffic goes up and down, but they are young, which is fairly common." Sonia says, "5-month-old site. I'm seeing the usual hockey stick, so I'm not sure." I don't know that a hockey stick at month 5. I mean, that seems early for a hockey stick. I wonder if that you are seeing some sort of impact. Jana says, "I read about mum and I really don't understand it." Yeah, it has to do with how they're analyzing the content out there in all of its forms. Not just the written content, but also video. As I understand it, video and images and all of the things, so that they can deliver a better answer to people's questions and like the best answers to people's questions, and give them also the ability to ask maybe more general questions to get the answers that they want, or even taking pictures of things and then having Google understand potentially what they are looking for based upon just less information from the user. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to play out for us in the future because most of us do written content. Um, I don't know. Let's see. Adrian says no change in traffic because of the mom update. Keith says, I wish I had listened to Chris 18 months ago. Chris said his 8-month-old site lost about 15% traffic noon yesterday. Not sure if it's just a bump or an update hit. That's interesting. Graham says, I'm experimenting with the update. Been looking at Craigslist, Gumtree, etc. for pictures of products for sale. They get deleted after a while, so maybe Google will see them as being kind of original. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I generally don't like take pictures of anything from anywhere. I'm actually gotten away from using pictures, and I'm just making graphics instead of posting pictures in Canva, just because I'm trying to get away from using stock photography in general. I'd rather just do my own photos in the future. But I don't know. Keith says too early to tell, but I think I may have received a 10% bump from mom, but only on one site. Then Jana says maybe add more images and videos. I think that it's like this balance, right? We've got the speed stuff, and then this other thing that they say, well, maybe sites that have more images and video will do better, but it will make them slower. And how does that balance out? And I think the solution for me is just to try to do the best job I possibly can and not worry so much about what Google is doing and hope for the best what I'm doing. Um, Adrian says SEMrush sensor was really high the 1st and 2nd of October. Today is now the 6th. A lot of SERP movement. Anthony says hopefully it goes back up. I concur. Sue says, does everyone manage to get decent site speeds with Ezoic? I'm getting issues on mobile since I installed Ezoic, around 50 page speed on mobile. Do I need to fix this? I found that to be the case too when I first started using Ezoic. And then when I moved to using their Leap product, my stuff is all in the 90s right now. And so I don't know if it's a question of like the way that you're set up for speed, or if it has to do with a theme or anything else. So it's not uncommon to have low speed scores like even less than 50 on mobile with Ezoic. And I think just about anybody who's got decent speed with Ezoic is using some sort of speed enhancing setup situation, as far as I know. Sue says I'm on Leap. So then I would have to wonder, is it configured correctly? Because if it is configured correctly, it's surprising to me that it's in the 50s. It should be better than that. And I would be on the horn with support people or working through any of the issues with Leap to figure out what that is. Because from my personal experience, it can be better. It can be better. I just don't know for sure what it is that's causing the trouble. Key says it takes a bit of tinkering around. You should get your account manager to look. The hard part is sometimes is actually getting them on the horn, because they do have a lot of customers now and they have a lot of questions for people with Leap, but that's probably what I would do as well. People are asking if Sue is integrated with name servers or using the plugin. Yeah, Sue, tell us more about how you're set up and maybe some folks will have some ideas. Last week we talked about Google Analytics 4 versus the universal property. I just wanted to do a follow-up on this. One of the questions, okay, so to back up, for people who are wondering what I'm talking about, I had looked up the Mediavine application just to see what you needed to apply for Mediavine, because I may or may not have a site that is ready to apply for Mediavine. And one of the things that they required is that you submit a report of the last 30 days of traffic to confirm that you have 50,000 sessions in the last 30 days from Google Analytics, but it has to be from their universal legacy property, not from Google Analytics 4. And I discovered that I had only set up GA4, and I had to actually go and create another property to have the universal property report. And somebody said, well, how do I know the difference? How do I know for sure whether or not I have Google Analytics 4 or universal property? And I didn't know at the time, and people caught me on the fly, and it's like, I don't know. And somebody mentioned this in the stream, but I did go and check it, and each of the the websites has usually a set of numbers that go along with it. Like if you go into Google Analytics and you click on the properties, usually you see the name that you gave the property and then a code underneath it. It's something like UA with a big string of numbers or GA4 with a string of numbers. And I'm sure there are other ways to know for sure, but for me, that's the quickest and easiest way to tell whether or not my property is the Universal Analytics or Google Analytics 4 is just right there in the tag that is in the ID that goes along with your property. So that's the quickest and easiest way I could identify for people who are looking down the road at applying to another ad network and might need the Universal Analytics report and to tell whether or not you have one or both of them. So I just had that on my list to circle around and be like, hey, oh, and then there's this. Sue says, I'm worried about losing rankings because of the speed update as my traffic has been dropping despite adding lots of content. She says she's on name servers and I got them to set up Leap for me. Donna K says, you have to work hard to get your speed up on Ezoic and reach out to their support. And then Sue says, but tis pants, LOL. I'm not sure what that means when somebody says, but tis pants. I feel like this is another one of those things that just a cultural thing. I don't know what that means. But she says she's going to write a support ticket. I'm like, all right. Anthony says, I have GA4 set up after Income School's video on it, but I never use it and I hate it. There are many people who feel that way. Adrian also says to reach out to your Ezoic manager. He says GA4 equals X, GA3 universal equals Emmanuel, what is going on? Thanks for dropping on. As always, folks, if you are new to the stream, please, feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Tell us what you're working on because everybody likes to know. And it's more enjoyable to talk to folks who we feel like are doing the same thing, like regardless of where you are at in the journey. I also want to give a shout out to the folks that are listening quietly while working, while doing interlinking, while doing research, while writing blog posts. The chat is active today, which I love, but I know there are several of you back there who are just writing quietly, like tippity tap it away. So feel free to just, click over to the screen and just tell us like, I'm here and I'm working. Like I saw John Morphus at the beginning and he's been pretty quiet in the chat today. So if John is working, I wouldn't be surprised because last month he said he was going to do a 100-day challenge. And then I really haven't hardly heard anything from John since then, which is cool. Let's see. Pants equals terrible. Okay. I just learned something. When I finally come over to the UK, I will be less confused. I think I will still be confused. I mean, let's be fair. It's pretty easy to confuse me, but I like some of the lingo I think I will get. Speaking of the UK and affiliate gathering, last week, Stiggs asked me if I was feeling anxious about affiliate gathering. And Carl, bless his soul, bless his heart, bless all of him, because I did admit to feeling anxiety about the travel and also about presenting. Carl watched the stream and then sent me this really nice like note that was like reassuring me and like didn't want to pressure me and like offered to basically do what like to roll out the red carpet to make me feel secure. And I just really so Carl, if you get this, I really appreciate you, friend. I hope that you didn't feel like I was being negative in any way. I am nervous. I don't feel ready to be a presenter at a conference. And I listened to a podcast recently that was talking about how opportunities that we need often drop into our laps before we are ready for them, before we feel ready. Like that's the time for growth. And I feel like this would be a great growth opportunity, but I'm scared. So Carl, I appreciate you when you watch this later, and I'm going to do everything I can to actually get there. Like that scares me, right? Like actually getting there in a time of COVID. And I don't know if the kids will come with me yet, but I started like like generally making plans and telling people over here that I was going to go over to this, which means I also need to do things like reapply for my passport because my passport expired while I was like birthing children, and so I have to go back and do that and actually do things to start, making this possible. So yeah, no, this could happen. If you don't know what affiliate gathering is, my affiliate link is in the description. You can click on it and check it out. But the other reason I brought it up was that I saw there was an email from the event manager, and apparently some other folks in our community in general are working on planning maybe some other events, either the night before or the day after the affiliate gathering, which is in May of next year, which would actually be so cool because the people are going to be traveling all the way there anyway to meet up, the night before or the night after, or even just in general to make it more of like a multi-day thing and to really make it a valuable experience for people to travel and and be a part of the community. So I'm slowly getting more excited about it and then wrapping my head around the fact that I could be traveling out of the country next year, which I mean, it's hard to imagine right now considering I've barely made it like out of like my little neighborhood hardly at all in the last like 18 months. It'll be coming up on 2 years. We've barely gone anywhere. Um, so yeah, I haven't been out of the state that I live in, the state of Oregon, and think about going to England next year it's like my mind is literally like, but it would be so cool to see um, all of these folks, and it would just be such a treat. Graham says, if you're using Elementor, that's supposed to be a big no-no with the Zoic. He says, I'm on Elementor and getting an 80 on mobile and 89 on desktop. Ditch page builders. John says, yes, working quietly in the background. I said, I knew it. You of all people, John, I knew it would be working really hard because you do. Janice says, who is your host? Yeah, people are trying to help. Sarter says, would anybody like to join me as a partner? So here's what I think about partners. And this is left over from my old, maybe PTSD. I don't want to say PTSD is the wrong word, just my old experience as being an attorney, because I always dealt with businesses as things went sour, right? Everybody starts a business with the idea that it's going to be great and like the honeymoon and it's wonderful. And then they break up. And then everybody is wishing that they had done this, that, or whatever. And when it comes to like a website, if you truly know enough to get it going, I just feel like having the security and the stability of having control over everything, because inevitably at some point there will be a breakup in the partnership, in the business partnership. And it's not always because you don't like each other anymore, because you don't get along. It just family happens, people die. So I think partnerships can work, um, but I don't really recommend them. But if somebody wanted to partner with Sartor and other people do partner, it works out fine. Just, you look at the income school guys, like you thought they would be married to each other forever, and then they weren't. And luckily they had enough stuff to divide to where it wasn't terrible, but maybe it was terrible. Maybe we just don't know. Sonia says, I just Googled some of my articles and saw 2 featured snippets. Yes. Sue says that she's using Cadence, which is frustrating. I switched my theme to Divi to Cadence and got speeds of 99 to 100 and then Ezoic. Yes. And then Ezoic. Donna Kay says, you will learn all the English slangs once you get here. I'm probably going to need a minder. Is that the right word for basically an adult to lead me around to prevent me from stepping out into the street and getting hit by a bus? I kid you not. I probably need somebody to like pick me up and just drag me where I need to get to. Jay, what's going on? Howdy, howdy. Was actually enjoying Guilty Distractions on YouTube. It's a good thing we don't know where you are. You might be getting a package of glitter in the mail for you to rip open and throw all over your house. Then saw this live on the suggested list. Thanks for bringing me back to the groove. Yes. Yes. Get back. Just like push you, like get out of the Graham Stephan clickbait. Like stop looking at income reports. Like put on some music after the stream, by the way, and then like write a blog post. Create some links or something, like link something to something else. If it doesn't move the needle, don't do it. Kieran, what's going on? Thanks for dropping in. I love like people as they get in towards the end of the stream, and then I'm like, oh, I wish I could sit here for hours and talk to everybody. Let's see. Contact your host and ask them to look at your setup. They may have some suggestions as well. I wouldn't have thought to do that actually. People are talking about Cadence. They think that it's really easy to use and it's fast. It's a Zoic that's slowing down your site. Has anyone joined Ezoic Level Up Learning this week? I don't feel like there's any new information that they haven't said before. I haven't, but I would like to know if anybody else has, and what they think about it as far as like the quality of the training. What happened to Income School? Ricky and Jim broke up. It was Ricky who bought out Jim, and then Jim took some of like one or two of the properties and is just going to work on them and get back to building sites and his YouTube channel. And it was a big hullabaloo. What, last month? We were all talking about it, like wondering like what happened, and was it like they said, oh, it was amicable, and I mean, I think there's all kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes, but since I'm not in the middle of it, I don't know for sure. Luz Dunn says, hello. I always watch the videos and late as I'm working. I finally made it. I'm a lurker. Well, you are always welcome to catch the replay or catch it live and lurk. I just like to know that you're here, and welcome. Feel free to tell us about yourself. And I got to tell you, I got to tell everybody something. The people who actually take that extra step to interact a little more, either in this community or other communities, I don't, there seems to be a correlation between that, like success, right? Like people who just try a little bit more to connect with other people in this group. I mean, maybe it's just because the people who are maybe more forward about what's going on, I see them succeed, right? And the people who aren't, I don't know. I don't even think I'm trying to express this very well. I just think that the people who do reach out and participate and are more active and just they don't have to waste a lot of time making YouTube videos like I do, and but just people who have a community, you can really see them grow, and see their attitudes are positive. And I don't know, maybe it's just because they're more forward about it. I know people who work on their own, who don't have a community, succeed as well. Just see that it can be really a boost for people, is what I think I'm trying to say. So, but you mean you may be shy about piping up and saying, "Hey, that I'm here." It's cool, but good things can happen when you do reach out. Uh, let's see. Don't expect too much from hosts. I'm like, oh, Luz says that lived in England for 3 years and they are so polite and proper they will never comment on your cat habit. So you're saying that they will just talk behind my back? Like, would it be better for them to say it to my face, or just like behind me, like, oh my God, I can't, I don't believe that's what I saw. Is the cleaning niche competitive? That's tough to say off the top of my head. I would have to look at the keywords, and I would also be thinking about what aspect of the cleaning niche, because I wouldn't necessarily dive into cleaning niche unless I was specifically targeting products that cost a lot, right? Like I wouldn't pursue like simple sponges, right? Because you can get them for $1, or brushes, or even cleaning products. Now, if we were talking about like carpet cleaners or carpet cleaning services, or questions about like major cleaning repairs, like pressure washers, or like like major repair type cleaning, then I would be more interested in looking into the competition. But is it competitive? I haven't looked into it, so I can't speak to that. But maybe other folks have. Maybe there are folks in this group that have a cleaning website who are like, stop talking. Don't give them any ideas because I'm the only one doing the site. Keith says, in wine, there's truth. Perhaps Ricky will spill the beans in the small hours after the affiliate gathering event. Yes, I keep forgetting that Ricky is coming to the affiliate gathering because he's the keynote, right? And right, like somebody confirmed for me. So it could be a great opportunity for people who would actually want to like have in-person communication, because I can't see him like coming and just being the keynote and then not hanging out and participating and shaking hands and stuff. So like that could be a cool thing to meet Ricky from Income School. I mean, I've been watching their videos on and off for the last 3 and some years. Kieran says, when you come to the UK, we'll have to take you to Weatherspoons. It's a super cheap British pub chain. What I'd like is all the names of things. Like, I think that's really interesting. I think like it sounds. See, I feel like I may have offended some people last week because I got down this hole of like talking about British people, and so now I'm afraid that I will just step off the cliff there again. But the names sound very formal. Witherspoons. I can't imagine that's like a cheap place. To me, that sounds like some place where you would spend money, but maybe that's Maybe that's their thing, right? It's like it looks fancy, but it's really affordable. Some people clean up in that niche. Graham says, I knew something was up with income school when he moved to a different state a few months back. Yeah, that was probably a sign that things were coming. Tortoise Cash Flow. Anthony says, Carl's son is selling a cleaning site about steam cleaners. Well, clearly I wasn't the only one who thought about this. And Eric says he doesn't shake hands anymore. I do. I'm not afraid of the germs. I mean, I am afraid of the germs, but I shake hands anyway, and then like surreptitiously like wash them behind my back when they're gone. He says, I love the origin story of Weatherspoons. The founder named it after his school teacher who told him he never amount to anything. So what do they sell at Weatherspoons that I would be excited about? And when you say it's cheap, like as I understand the UK or like London, like everything is super expensive. Like you be expecting to pay $20 for a beer. So like qualify for me what cheap means because maybe cheap means something different to me than it does to you. So the British don't get offended. They don't, huh? Donna Kay says, not Weatherspoons. Let's take her somewhere better. So if now I'm gonna stop saying if I come. I'm gonna say when I come there. It's not gonna be a long trip, but I need to know like what do I have to do while I'm there? Like I would leave the country like having failed if I did not do these things. Go to like there's a Big Ben thing, right? Like there's a thing like I mean, all I do is read, historical fiction, and I've read tons of like history about that area, and so I know kind of historically what's there, but I don't know what there is to do now, which is awesome. Like, what will I miss out if I do not do when I am there? Um, Please in the chat, tell me. Ooh, I was also going to give you an update. Last week, I threw out the question because I had that cluster that sort of has emerged on the Miga site, but like getting most of the traffic, but the RPMs are really low. And the question was, should I double down on these articles that don't have a high RPM but get traffic versus continuing to pursue my previous plan, which is only pursuing keywords that have the potential for high RPMs? And I decided to just go all in on the traffic. And so I did order a bunch of content on these keywords that may potentially have a low RPM because in the future, assuming I have lots and lots of traffic, maybe I can earn more money in other ways, with another ad network or something. Like who's to say that right now, if they're getting $5 per thousand visitors on one ad network, that it couldn't be more elsewhere. So I have doubled down on traffic, especially now that ad rates are sort of all wonky with October. So I just wanted to give you the update for those of you who remembered that conversation. And I guess we'll just have to see where it goes, how it goes, how it does. Donna Kay says, cheap is $1 beer you get at a student union. Weatherspoons is considered cheap. Key says, give yourself a whole day in London. Yeah, it'll be interesting if I have the kids with me, like a whole day in London when it's just me versus my 3 munchkins will be entirely different. Kieran says there is quite a lot of nice things to do in York when you come. I was there recently. Carl mentioned this. Yeah, I hear York is really nice. Like people go there for vacation. Um, I have not quite gotten to that part of the research yet. So far, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around getting on a plane right now. It's like my brain is fuzzy whenever I try to think about it. Keith says, I drink so seldom that I have no problem paying £5 for a pint. That's still a lot of money for one beer. Love says, I started making science graphics online years ago. Wanted to live off of my website, but no traffic. 9 months ago, I finally discovered SEO. I'm finally making a small income. I publish once a week. Well done and welcome. Yes, we would love to hear more about your work and how that is going. Graham says that Carl says York is super haunted. So that's a no from me. We'll protect you. We'll protect you. Nothing is going to get you in York. Sue says, "Did you announce who won the closest guest to your traffic and revenue?" Nope. I was leaving the contest open until I actually made the video for the month 9 update, which I'm planning on making somewhere in the next couple of days. So everybody should know in the next couple of days how that plays out. I'm not sure if anybody got there though. I was watching the guesses as they were dripping in, and I don't think that anybody got there. I think that there were people who were really close on traffic or really close on the earnings, but not both. So we may have to just push it to next month to see how folks do in that contest. Donna K says, "I have a YouTube video on things you can do in York. You can check it out and see what you can do there." Yeah, put it in the Amiga group. I will go and check it out. Eric says, "Yes, the cluster. I think he made the right choice. Go for traffic. Fingers crossed." Yes. Well, we will see in like 1 to 10 months, 1 to 12 months how it plays out. I have a lot of articles still that I've posted in the last 2 or 3 months that still are not performing, not doing anything, and I have hopes that they will, but just it's a lot of wait and see right now. And because the site is somewhat seasonal too, like I probably won't really know until next spring or summer whether or not some of those articles that I've created recently will be doing anything, because right now less people are doing this thing. More people will be doing it next year when summer comes back. Chris also says, besides RPM, more traffic equals more natural backlinks. Also, another benefit of pursuing the follow the people, follow the eyeballs rather than following the money. So if you follow the people, the money will come versus following the money. And then there's no guarantee that the people will come. Sarah says, the cluster sounds like a good idea. I'm starting to notice one of my own. Yeah, the only time I think I would I mean, the only reason I think I would not pursue that particular cluster if the RPM was just so low that it was mind-bogglingly low. Like on my 2019 case study, the cluster that emerged in the top 10, the RPM was like between a dollar to $2. And I think that I could continue to get traffic on that cluster, but the RPM is so low. It's to me, it just doesn't feel worth it at all. I mean, yeah, sure, I could get thousands of people there, but then you earn $1 per thousand visitors. You're like, maybe I would just do something else, which is what happened. I went and did something else. Well, I am looking at the time. It is close to the top of the hour. I was going over my notes right now of all the things I was planning to say, and the last topic that I didn't cover was failure. I see a big fail coming up for me here pretty shortly. You may or may not recall, but last December or in January, I made this broad sweeping statement that I was going to take my main YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I am 17 subscribers away from 4,000. So I think it is safe to say, absent like lightning striking, like some sort of YouTube like religious experience, that I won't get to 10,000 subscribers on the main channel by the end of the year. But I'm okay with that, because what I decided to do this year was focus on websites, and YouTube has suffered. And I am okay with publicly failing on my YouTube goal. I'm just going to come out there and say I know it's going to happen because of the other things that I was able to grow and build this year that have been super exciting. So I'm almost to 4K, which still, given that I used to cry while making YouTube videos, is it's pretty awesome, right? To have somebody who literally couldn't be on camera, who couldn't, like, I could never look at myself right now for an hour and speak. So 4,000 isn't too bad. Anyway, it is top of the hour. I've got a lot of work to do, and so do you all, folks. It's been great talking to you for the last hour. We will be back next week. Chris was asking me recently about doing another Halloween party like we did last year, and I think that I'm going to try and get that together, just to get a couple of people together on the stream and then wear some sort of ridiculous costume. Last year, I wore the bunny hat and drew on my face and wore a crown, a blinky crown. And Chris wore his unicorn onesie that he got by going into, I think, a sex shop. Is that what I remember how that played out? It could be that I just don't remember, but I am looking for some guests right now to come and hang out with us, and you should see the thumbnail soon, so keep an eye out for that. So, yes, Halloween party. I will say it out there that to make sure that it happens. Yeah, otherwise, I will see you all, hear you all, speak to you all next Wednesday, same time, all the rest. Let me know how you did. Work really hard because I'm going to. We'll see you then. Okay. Take care.